Just make sure I'm standing in the middle of this fucking thing.
Live. That was on there.
Oh, hello, welcome to Thursday. We're doing a in-between, because we normally do every other Thursday. We're doing an in-between as a thank you. We're not selling anything. We are giving you some quick, easy scrap projects that you can make hopefully as gifts or for yourself, because I'm going to make them for myself. Just one quick thing I wanted to say. We got in the love notes, the fabric kits, the CD or sewing kit, and the embellishment kit. So everybody that's signed up, you will be getting an email from us either tomorrow or Saturday. Hopefully tomorrow, but we never know what's happening. And it'll give you all the little rules and what we're going to do and how we're going to do it. And, of course, if you have any questions, you can email us or call. I hope everybody's staying cool, because this weather is, I don't want to say a bad word, it's not nice.
Stinky.
It's too hot. I guess the older we get, the less we like it. That's it. So I'll give you Marie, and she'll give you some demos. Hope you enjoy.
Hi everyone, welcome back. I'm Marie. We're here at Patchworks in Sable, New York. For all you folks who are new to us, welcome. To all you people who are coming back to see us, thanks for spending some time with us. As Debbie said, we're just doing a demonstration today of fast and easy scrap projects. This was originally scheduled sometime in March, and then everything shut down, so we never did it. So I just thought, let me show you guys this. They're quick, easy projects to do with scraps, leftovers that you have on hand at home. So, hopefully you'll all find something to do with it and, use up some of those scrap piles, and then you come in and get more fabric. So, okay. So I'm going to start. We have a couple of projects. The first one I'm going to start with are chenille pot holders or mug rugs or hot plates, that kind of thing. So these are chenilled. So what it is basically, I'm going to go through it with you step by step, is you put layers of fabric down, you sew channels in them, and then you cut through it, and you put them in the washing machine and the dryer, and they all fluff up, like so. This is the front, the chenille part, that's the back. They can be used as I said, hot plates. They can be used as oven mitts, what are those things called again? Get things out of the oven. Hot pad thingies. You see how much cooking I do.
Oh my God.
Because they are layered with not just cotton batting, but with Insulbright as well. They can be mug rugs. Yes, these are a little big for mug rugs. I will tell you, if you cut them in half,
I'd like a cup of coffee that size.
Yeah. These would make nice mug rugs, but I just have a suggestion for that I'll tell you towards the end. So let me just go over real quick what you need for this. All right, so, and at the end of the video, I'll tell you where to go and get all these instructions printed out, so don't worry about taking notes or anything like that. We have them all ready for you. So, in order to make roughly an 8-inch hot pad, mug rug, or oven mitt, no, it's not a mitt, one of these guys, what you need for the top layer of fabric, you need 3... Pot holder, thank you.
Pot holder.
You need 3 for the size that I made. And the size that I put in the pattern here is so that you could use a 1/4 yard of fabric. Of course, you can make these things any size that you want. For these guys, what you need is of your top fabric to be chenilled, you need 3 8-inch squares plus 1 9-inch square of the top fabric. Then you also need a 9-inch square of cotton batting, a 9-inch square of Insulbright,
This is dangerous, but I'm trying it.
and then a 9-inch square of the backing fabric, like so. To finish it up, you'll also need a 2 1/4 inch wide strip by the width of the fabric for the binding. So the first thing you're going to do is layer the backing. You want to show them this? I'm going to put it down on the table.
No.
Come on. Get over here and show them. Okay. So the first thing you're going to do is you're going to lay the backing fabric, right side up, the Insel Bright, there, the cotton batting here, and then the 9-inch square of the top chenille fabric right on top of that. To make your life a little easier with these guys, if you take some of the temporary spray base and just give a little squirt in between each layer to hold it together, that works fine. Then you take the 3 remaining 8-inch squares of the top fabric, lay them one on top of the other, all right side up, and you're going to center them on top of the 9-inch square of the top fabric. That's the setup. Then what you do is you're going to take your ruler, and what's really important to get good chenille is to always work with a 45-degree angle. So you're going to lay your ruler from corner to corner, right here, and draw yourself a little line right across the whole thing. Then what you're going to do is, to hold them all together, is just pin straight through the whole thing to hold all the layers together, like so. Set your machine up with a thread that complements it in the top and the bottom, in the bobbin thread too, because you're going to see it on the back. If you're able to adjust the pressure on your press-a-foot, you might want to lower the pressure on your press-a-foot a little, so that, because you're going through a lot of layers here, all right? An 80-12 needle, 90-14 needle should be just fine. I did all these with an 80-12 Microtex. So then what you're going to do is you're going to stitch your first line following this chalk line right here. You want to lock your stitches at the beginning and end of each line, so that your first group, you're just going to sew just like that, right on that line. Then what you need to do is stitch little channels 3/8 of an inch apart from that. If you can mark them with the chalk liner, or if you have a little foot that lets you adjust, like so. And also, this really works best following this line with an open toe foot, so that you can go right down. So if you have a foot like this that lets you gauge the distance from your needle out, you can do that too, so that when you go to sew your next lines, you just put this little guy right on that stitch line and you sew. Remember to lock your stitches at the beginning and end, go back, sew the next side, and so on. You sew across the whole thing so that your piece now looks like this. You have all the channels quilted, all the channels stitched, I should say. This is what it looks like on the back. Alrighty? Now the next part is cutting the fabric. And if you can dig through all your drawers and pull out that chenille cutter, that would be great. We did that here, we couldn't find it. So what I did was I took one of my really sharp little scissors. And what you're going to do is you're going to cut right down the middle of these channels. Try to do it in the center. Again, if you had the chenille cutter, that wouldn't be a problem, because the little chenille cutters fit right in those channels and cut right there. But the important part is you're not cutting through that fourth, slightly larger piece that you put here. This is why you do the piece a little larger, because it's easier for you to slip your scissor in right under here and just cut straight across. And just to double check, when you get to the other side, see, look, it's still there, good. So anyway, so you're just going to cut the entire piece. You're going to cut all the channels through, and you'll have them all looking like this. So then the next thing to do is you need to square it up when you're done. So this should have been about an 8-inch square, but I need to cut so that, you know, when you stitch anything like that, it comes out different sizes and everything. So what you want to do is you want to just square it up, and this is where you probably want to use the bigger 60mm rotary cutter. Debbie's laughing. Who's making her laugh?
I was going to say slap the binding on.
So that you have a nice, neat square ready to bind. The last thing that you're going to do is you're going to take your binding strip. I use 2 1/4 wide inches, folded it in half. Now here's the trick. You want to sew it onto the chenille side so that you're going to flip it over and stitch it down on this side. It's a lot easier if you hand stitch or even machine stitch finish it, to do it on this side that isn't all chenilled up and everything. And no, it doesn't look like this yet. This is what it looks like when it comes out of the dryer. But so stitch it down on the side where you have your chenille channels cut. Also, the way that I finished this binding was I cut myself a 45-degree angle, folded the edge in like this. When I started pinning it down, I left a little bit like so. Did my continuous binding going all around here. When I got to this part, the way that I finished it was I held this down, pinned it like so, had my binding come around like this. I finished sewing the binding like here, so that's flapping. I held it over and I said, okay, I need to go this far so that it's all inside of this. So I trimmed it to there. You pull this up and you tuck it in there nice and tight. Make it lay nice and flat. Pinned it like so, and then completed my binding. This is, where is it? This here. I don't know if you can see. That's how I finished the binding off on this. You see here? Where is it on the other side? Oh, here. Here. You really can't see it. It's an easier way to finish it. So once you do all that, then what you do is you put it in the washing machine. And if you put it in the washing machine with a bunch of towels, they'll rough it up. And then you throw it in the dryer with the towels and they'll rough it up and everything. And when it comes out, you have this really pretty chenille. Now, also clean your lint trap. Of course, it gets full of the little fibers and everything. Now, these guys all use the same fabric on the top. This one came out like with a softer blue color because the back of this fabric is pretty pale. If you used a fabric that was the same color front and back, like say one of the Kona cottons, this would be a brighter look to it. This one, I just want to show you this. This fabric, as you can see, you still see the motif and everything on that. If you're going to do something like this, what you need to do when you go to line up your top fabrics, the best way to do it is to grab that light table and position your prints. You need them to line one right up on top of the other like this. So here's my bigger 9-inch fourth layer, bottom layer of my top. Here are my 3 8-inch layers. So what I had to do was lay it down and smush them around until I was able to get the prints pretty much laying one on top of the other. It takes a little bit more fabric and a little bit more time, but it lets you have this kind of look when you're all done. So the one other thing I want to tell you guys is if you were interested in making this, say, a mug rug, yes, this is very big for a mug rug. If, say, you want to do it half like this, you still have to be sure that if you're working on a square, you know if you go corner to corner, it's a 45-degree angle. If you're working on a rectangle, that's not really a 45-degree angle going this way. You really need a true 45-degree angle. So I would recommend that if you want to do a mug rug, do 2. Start with an 8-inch square and mark the line corner to corner, and then you can cut that in half and use that on your 2 separate mug rugs. And this way you'll know where your 45-degree line is in relation to the cross width and the width and length of the fabric. So that is the chenille hot pad mug rug pot holder.
I made one for my cat's bed, and he absolutely loves it.
Okay. So that is our first. Oh, also the other thing is if you want to do a little hanger on it, if you were doing the pot holder thing, you would just cut a piece of fabric about 2 inches by 5 inches. You fold it in half, iron it, open it up, fold the edges into the middle, fold it again, top stitch. And then before you sew on the binding, decide what side you want to put the little holder on and just baste it down in place. And then when you go and stitch your binding on, that will stitch it down in place too. But as I said, all these directions, I'm going to give you the link where to go to get all these directions. So they should all be in there. Okay, so that is the chenille pot holder. It uses the Insulbright, and we use the 505 spray. You might want to use this to trim it up. And that's it. All right, well, let's get the next one. Okay. All right, so get this out of the way. Okay. All right. So the next project was done. As I said, this was done before everything shut down, and the next project uses 1/4-inch elastic. So I don't know if any of us have 1/4-inch elastic laying around, but it's to make scrunchies. Like, the kids were all crazy about scrunchies. So I'm just really quick showing you how to make scrunchies that don't involve any kind of hand sewing or anything like
nice
that.
because it doesn't break your hair like the rubber bands or those little, what do they call those things that are...
Yeah, they're softer on your hair, you know. And,
yeah, it
and
doesn't
I know
pull your hair out and break it. And...
They're really, really fast to make. So what you do to make these is you start with a strip of fabric 3 inches wide by about 22 inches, 21 inches long. It's not a hard and fast rule. And what you're going to do is you're going to fold that strip of fabric in half lengthwise. You're going to mark about 1.5 inches, 2 inches down from one end, 1.5 inches, 2 inches down from the other end. And you're going to stitch along the entire length to close that tube, so that you have something that opens like so and opens like so. Then you need to turn the tube right side out. I found these. I have a whole set of them. I didn't know that. Little tube turns.
We have nicer ones now.
We have nicer ones now. All right, so I had these laying around. So then you put this in here. Turn the tube right side out, however you need to turn the tube right side out. Okay, so this one has a little whisk in there. Oops, it's caught on there. Yeah, is it a nice one? Because this one's killing me. Okay, here we go. Oh yeah, those are good. Those are easier than this.
Yeah.
Okay, so this one you put it in, you got this little pigtail thing, you pull it through, and then you just pull it right through like that. Okay, so then you're going to turn that little tube right side out. Okay, and then you wrestle with this little pigtail thing to get it out. Okay, I'm not going to wrestle with it right now. Use these, they're better. So now what you have is the tube turned right side out. You don't even have to iron these. So the next thing you're going to do is you're going to bring these two ends together like so. Okay, I know it's delayed there. Can you see if they can see this? You're going to match up
I can't tell.
these two little short ends. Let us know if you can't see it, guys. Okay.
Yes, you can see it.
You can see it. Okay. You're going to match up these little short ends like this. Go over to your sewing machine and stitch them with a 1/4-inch seam allowance. So now what you have is something that looks like this. Okay? So then what you're going to do next is you're going to scrounge around and find a piece of 1/4-inch elastic laying around. 9 inches, 8 inches, whatever you have. I mean, it stretches, so you can even go 7 inches or something like that. Put it on a safety pin, and then you weave it through the whole thing like this. And obviously, if you don't watch this end, you're going to just pull the whole thing through again. You know, so I was sitting there just kind of, that's a little gross. I just was holding one end in my mouth and pulling it through the other end. So you're going to pull it through all the way. What? Debbie's laughing. Okay. Until you get to the other side. Yep, there it is. Okay. Then when you get to the other side, I just overlap them. I mean, if you really want to, you could just tie them in a knot, but that uses a little bit more elastic, so if you're running short, you're going to overlap one on top of the other, go to your sewing machine, and just stitch back and forth 2 or 3 times. That's all. Then once you do that, you just, you know what, I'm going to pin it because I want to just show you. Let's pretend that that is sewn. So then once you do that, then all you need to do is turn these little edges under 1/4 inch, like this, like so, like so. Go over to your sewing machine and just edge stitch 1/8 of an inch away, just like that. Okay, and there you have your scrunchies. So again, it's a 3-inch wide by 20, 21, 22 inch piece of fabric, a 9/8, 7-inch piece of elastic. We do have elastic here, so if you guys need elastic, we do have it. And it's just a little bit of sewing. You have all these cute little scrunchies. You know, if you're making like your little granddaughter a quilt or something like that, you have some leftover fabric, that would be cute to do. Or, you know, kids are kind of cooped up today, so maybe they could even get involved doing something like this. It's just another fun little project. Again, all the instructions will be on the link on our website, so I'll show you. Okay. So now, one more. Okay. This one involves hardware. Okay. Okay. These are key fobs. Okay, these are super fast, super simple. They do need key fob hardware. We have them here, right? We have them here. They're like 75 cents each. They're 1 inch wide. This is actually the tool that's used to put them together, but you don't need this. You can use a pair of pliers to put them together. So these are really, really fast. Now what you do with these guys is you start with a, let's see, let me just go to my cheat sheet for a minute. 3 inches, right? So you start with, you need a piece of fabric 3 inches by 10 inches. You need a piece of fusible fleece 2 inches by 10 inches. And good idea, snip it a little shorter, because what you're going to do is go over to the iron. Okay. Let me do this. Okay. So what you're going to do is go over to the iron and position that glue side down, that 2 inch by 10 inch piece of fleece on the wrong side, the back side of your 3 inch by 10 inch fabric. And since this is 2 inches, this is 3 inches, you should have a 1/2 inch on each side. So what I do is I just kind of bump my ruler there. This way I know I'm pretty much have it in the right spot, like so. Okay? And then you're just going to fuse it in place. I'm just going to turn it around and fuse it in place like that. Okay. Then what you're going to do is you just fold these edges over like this on both sides. Okay. So far, simple. Haven't messed it up yet. Okay, here's another hint. Let's say you didn't have a 10-inch long piece. You could certainly just take 2 pieces. This is fusible. And you could just bump them up together.
So save your scraps.
And, save your scraps. Save your scraps. So you could just bump them up together and do the same thing. That works too. So then, okay, you take that piece. So now you have this piece. Oops, that's heavy. Let me just do that again. Okay. Like so. Now what you're going to do is fold these over again, like that. And what I did to make it a little easier.
Well, I like the pinball.
That's the zircle.
It's very cute. It's like a bad hair day.
I like the zircle. Okay. Fold this over like this. And now what you want to do is give it a really good pressing to keep it down. Press those layers all together real nice. thought I put water in it. Maybe not. Okay. Press those layers down. And then you're going to pick it up and you're going to pin it like that. Then, that's why I like the Zirkle. I can throw the pins at it. Then what you're going to do is you need to top stitch along both sides. Now this is where, if you have, threads all over. If you have a narrow edge foot, this makes it real simple because you can just guide it along here. So you would put your foot on your machine, move your needle position over so that you're sure you're going to catch both sides of this piece, and use a slightly longer stitch length. Like I use a 3.0 stitch length because I think that always looks a little nicer when it comes to top stitching. So you can just top stitch along the open side, and then you're going to go back and top stitch along the closed side. If you don't have a foot like this that has the blade directly in front of the center the needle position, look in your machine. I'm sure you all have a foot like this. This is a foot that's usually used for the over edge, overcast stitches. This little guy is movable. So you can do the same idea, moving this little red guide over to guide your stitching. You're going to use your straight stitch. You're going to move this over so that your needle position is, you know, right inside the edge of this or so. And you're going to stitch so that what you have is this edge stitching like here. Okay, so now you're almost done with it. Now, you can jazz these guys up. I stitched down on these guys. I edge stitched a ribbon going across. What you do is you just position it, just stitch up, you know, pin it right down, and then I use the matching thread to the green on top, but the same thread on the back, and I just edge stitched it down. I use my
stitch.
You can do a decorative stitch on it. You can, you know, we all have those stitches on the machine. I think last week when I showed you the crazy baby quilt, we have more on our machines than we realize. You can even make a decorative stitch out of a utility stitch if you use a fancier thread. The possibilities are endless. So decorate it whatever way you want. Then what you're going to do, the final thing to do is you're going to add the key fob. So what you do is you trim your edges so that there's no, and yes, these are a little shorter. You trim your edges so that there's no fleece sticking out or anything like that. You go over to your machine and you're just going to stitch. Can they see?
I think so.
Okay.
It's hard to tell. I can't.
Just going to stitch like back and forth
It shut off because I turned
to hold it together. Okay. Is there a shadow on it?
No, it shut off because I turned the phone that way,
Oh.
horizontally instead of vertically, and it went, yeah, no, we can't do
Yeah,
that
no,
on
we
Facebook.
we can't do that. Okay, let me see. All right, so now I stitch the edges together. This goes in here like this. But first you want to make sure you have it positioned properly before you do the final squeeze on it. So that requires just a little bit of jiggling around. And it's always a lot easier I just know sometimes when I do this, it goes shooting out. Just to give it a little push down, just to see how it looks. Okay? Once you're happy with the way that it is, the best way to do this. Now, if you don't have these guys, you see they have this plastic here to protect the metal. You can certainly use a pair of pliers. Just put a little piece of batting or something like that under there so that you're not going to scratch the metal. All right, I'm going to do this. I can't guarantee that it's going to be that good. So I'm just going to squeeze a little on one side just to hold it in place. Go over to the other side. Make sure I like everything. See, I would go back and these little pokies in here. Pull them out. Say, okay, good. And then what you do is you put the whole thing in here like this and squeeze. And it's all set up. That's the back. That's the front. You got a little key fob. If you go, like, I thought what would be cute is if you did one out of, like, baby fabric. If you were making someone a little baby bag or something like that, you can get a little, what do you call these things? Jump rings or something like that, right? You can get a little jump ring for it and there we go. Get a little jump ring, stick it on there, and then that would make it easy for them to attach it to their bags or something like that. Or if you guys make a lot of bags, you know we love bags here. You have some leftover fabric from your pocketbook, your bag.
Especially the leather and the vinyls.
The leather and the vinyl.
And you can make it long because a lot of people wear them around their necks so they don't lose their keys.
Yep. The pattern calls for these pieces to be 10 inches, but as you can see, you can make them any size or length that you want. So that is entirely up to you. But it's just another really quick, fast way to use up some of your scraps. Okay. So now we're almost there. I have one more thing I'm going to show you. And I'm going to actually sew again, so wish me luck. Okay. Alrighty, so there it is. All right. So you know we're all wearing masks. We're all trying to be really, really careful with everything. So what I have here is the little pocket tissues. I'm going to show you how to make these really quick, adorable little pocket tissue covers. They're so fast. They really, really are. You can make them out of scraps in like 10 minutes. All right, so how do you do this? They're so quick. All right, so what you need is 2 pieces of fabric. Your outside fabric, you need 5.5 by 6.5 inches. Your lining fabric, you need 5.5 by 7.5 inches. What you do is you put your outside fabric on top of your lining fabric, like so, and you're going to sew them together along the shorter 5.5 inch length with a 1/4 inch seam allowance. Okay, ready? I'm sewing here.
You're going to sew? I'm going to try and come over that side.
Okay.
Because I don't think I get a good view from that side when you're sewing, but we'll see.
All right.
This is better, I think.
This is better? Okay.
Yep.
So what you're going to do is just, get that there, sew them together like this.
Keep it right here.
Yep.
Perfect.
1. Okay, that's 1. Come around to the other side. Match it up. And sew that. Let's go a little faster. There we go. Okay. All right. So now you have this kind of little awkward looking tube here where the lining fabric is bigger than the outside fabric. I'm sorry, I'm getting too close. Okay. So you go over to the iron and you just want to give this a little iron like that. Set the stitches in the seam. Okay. And then, oh, forget, I can't stand up. Now I use I have a sleeve board, so the next thing that you're going to do is once you do that, then you're just going to, I put on seam board if you have one of these strip sticks or something like that, one of these guys, you could do that, slip it in there. Now what I'm going to do is just press that over towards the outside fabric, the seam allowance. Okay. All right.
All these things are great little things that people do craft shows and especially around the holidays.
Yeah, or this would be really cute, like, I don't know, when we have like parties again, showers or something like that, or a wedding shower, baby shower, something like that. So then what you're going to do, the next thing to do is you lay it down on your ironing board. Now, I don't know if you can see how it's shaping up. This should be, because this should be 1/4 inch showing here. Okay. So I'm going to just lay my ruler down here. I don't want to glare anyone out. All right, you see how that's 1/4 inch? Perfect. So I'm going to take my iron and press that. And if you did it right, when you go over to this side, this should also be 1/4 inch, more or less. Okay. So now you have this piece like this. let me show you. Okay. Right. So we have these two guys. Okay. The next thing that you're going to do is you're going to find the center here. So you could measure, but what I did was I just simply, it's okay, simply marked it with the iron so that I could see the crease, and you bring that over like that. Now I use, I use Wonder Clips to hold this down. So you're going to bring this over like so here, and then you're going to bring this over like so here, okay, and then clip it so that it looks like that. All right, here are the raw edges. I did, because I can be kind of anal, I did measure it to make sure this is 3 1/4 inches, and it came to 2 1/8, 2 1/8, so, or 1 3/4, 1 3/4, whatever it was even. Okay, now you go back to the sewing machine. I'm sitting on my sleep board. Okay, you go back to the sewing machine, and you're going to stitch that. Let's see. And you do back stitch. Okay, one side. And then get those little snippies. And then the other side. Do remember to secure your seams. Lock stitch. Okay. All right. Now, I'm not going to do it now, but you can go back and you can zigzag this here to you know, finish the seam edge or something like that, or use one of your overedge stitches or something like that, or just do another row or two of straight stitching here. So now what you do is you turn it right side out. And I'm going to get my little pokey tool, like so. Still got threads floating around all over. Let's just get rid of those. Okay. Poke it right side out. Push out the corners. Push out the corners. Okay. Give it a little press. Sorry, I'm moving too fast. Okay, slow. Give it a little press. And you got it. I would do a better job there. I didn't poke it out that well. And you got it. So this is your finished product. And your tissues fit right inside. I mean, really, you could make this. If you made a pocketbook and you have leftover fabric, you can not only do a key fob out of it, you can do a little tissue pocket holder. So, all different colors.
Oh, I love that one.
Yeah, it's a cape. All different styles. You know, you could do anything with them. So, incredibly fast and easy. 5.5 by 6.5 inch piece and a 5.5 by 7.5 inch piece. So simple to do.
It'd be really cute to put extra masks in.
Oh, as a mask holder.
As a mask holder,
there
so you could keep them in your car, your glove compartment.
Right,
or
something
that
to
would
keep
be really cute.
Yeah. Something to fold up a mask in and keep it in your glove compartment or something like that. Keep them a little cleaner. Good idea. So that is that on our fast and easy scrap projects. Now, this is where you get them. I have them all ready for you guys to go. They're all written out. So to find them, you're going to go to our website, okay? I kind of tried to do a screen print here. This is our home page. So go to the videos button right here. When you go to the videos button, you will go to our video page where we usually post all our Facebook live videos there and everything. So at the very top of the page, it says click here for fast and easy scrap projects. You click on that, you're going to go to the PDF file. It's 3 pages for these projects. They're all there. You can save them to your computer, you can download, you can open up, you can print, whatever you want to do. So that is it. That's our Fast and Easy Scrap projects. That's our thank you to you guys for spending time with us. We really do appreciate everything. And next week we'll be back with some new projects, and we've gotten some really pretty fabric. If you've been checking our Facebook page, those RJR digital prints are flying out of here. They're gorgeous. So is there anything else, Debbie?
That's it.
Okay, that's it. Well, thank you all very much. Have a wonderful day. Stay cool. Take care.